The more you reveal about your life, the more likely you are to receive criticism, judgment, and words that seek to discourage you. This often happens because if we talk a lot about our plans, we end up being targeted by other people's opinions. How many times has someone put their dreams aside just because they talked too much and heard negative words? There is great power in advancing and growing discreetly without needing anyone's approval. In this video, you will learn how to do it correctly. First, how to walk away wisely, not for the sake of running away, but as part of an intelligent decision. Then, how to develop yourself without having to show anything to others. And finally, how you will come back so transformed and so strong that your presence will speak for itself. This is a kind of obligation that is yours alone, to grow in silence. Because when you come back, it won't be the same as before. You will be the strongest and truest version of yourself. Let's start this journey together. Part 1. What to do when everything is quiet. You walked away, escaped from the noise, other people's opinions, and the things that take your focus away. Now there is only you and a path ahead of you. A path that feels new, mysterious, and maybe even a little scary. But before you proceed, you need to know where you want to go. Without a specific location in mind, any direction may seem good at first. But this is how many people get lost. They walk around without knowing why. You stumble. They return to the same point. And in the end, they are more confused than before. So, if everything around you is quiet, enjoy it. Use this moment to look within yourself. Ask yourself, what do I really want? What makes me feel alive? What kind of person do I want to be? The shadows aren't a bad place. They are like a break, a time of care and preparation. There you begin to find yourself, dream clearly, and choose the next step more consciously. 1. Organize your life around progress. People who truly transform their lives don't just dream about progress, they make progress a daily priority. Every waking moment is an opportunity to invest in your own development and take another step towards your desire. This doesn't mean living a rigid or fun-free life, but rather knowing how to channel your energy and focus on what's important. Every decision you make must align with your growth. It is this ongoing commitment that will make all the difference in the end. The first transformation begins in your environment. The place where you live and spend most of your time has a profound impact on your decisions. For example, if you want to improve your fitness, your space needs to reflect that goal. Organize your training in a practical and accessible way. Have your gym clothes ready for immediate use. This eliminates the need for procrastination. Stock your fridge with healthy foods so it's easier to choose the right option when you're hungry. When you create the conditions for success, it becomes much easier to make decisions that move you closer to your goals. If your goal is to acquire new knowledge, the process starts with the same idea. Replace time spent on distractions, like endlessly scrolling through social media or watching aimless videos, with activities that move you closer to your goal. Start by reading about the topic you want to learn, looking for courses, and talking to people who know the topic. Change your environment and routines to achieve what you want. The secret is to make learning and practicing as natural as your everyday life. Now think about something even more important, your time. Time is the most valuable resource you have, and it is important to use it wisely. Most people don't realize how much time they waste on worthless distractions, whether on social media, in conversations that offer no added value, or in unnecessary tasks that drain your energy and concentration. Every second you waste is a second you can use to get closer to your goal. Therefore, it is important to be aware of how you use your time. The key to avoiding this waste is to break big goals down into small daily victories. It's not enough to say, I'm going to learn French this year. That's too vague. Set clear goals such as learn 30 minutes a day or learn 50 new words a week. This way you ensure that you are always making progress, and this constant progress prevents you from feeling overwhelmed. The secret to achieving a goal is consistency. Bruce Lee once said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who has practiced the same kick 10,000 times. The secret to true transformation lies in constant practice and perseverance. Make progress a habit that can't be ignored. When you begin to consistently commit to your growth, You become obsessed with your own development, and progress becomes visible, even to others. It doesn't matter how much time passes, what matters is what you do with it. Time will continue to pass, but the difference will be in how you decide to use it. Make every day an opportunity to get closer to the person you want to become. 2. Choose a goal. Think of someone practicing archery. He has the bow, he has the arrow, and he has the power to shoot. But what happens when he doesn't know where the target is? He shoots everywhere, with no direction, and never hits. The arrow can go far, but without a clear reference point, it will never reach its target. And that's exactly how many people live their lives. They have a desire to achieve something, but don't know exactly what that is or how to get there. This leads them to end up wasting energy and time without achieving anything concrete. The big lesson here is, you have to know exactly where you want to go. Simply saying, "I want a better life," or "I want more money," is not enough. These formulations are vague, too open-ended, and difficult to measure. How do you know you're there if you don't know your arrival location? What cannot be measured cannot be achieved. If you can't clearly see your progress, you may not progress at all. Therefore, it is important to be specific. Let's talk about clearer goals. For example, if you want to take better care of your body, you should first understand what that means. It is not enough to say, "I want to be healthier." Ask yourself, what weight do I want to reach? How many times a week will I exercise? What will I eat every day? This turns the desire into something concrete, a practical action that you can monitor and track. When you set numbers and deadlines, it's much easier to see progress. You know exactly where you stand and what you need to do to get closer to your goal. If your goal is to start a business that makes a lot of money, the same principle applies. Saying "I want to make more money" isn't enough. Ask, how much exactly do I want to earn? How soon? How do I want to sell? What will my company do to differentiate itself? These details are crucial because they help you direct your energy and actions much more efficiently. Clarity in your goals allows you to make strategic decisions, measure your progress, and adjust whatever is needed for success. Now, if you want to have a committed and happy relationship, you also need to be clear about what that means. What specifically do you want from a partner? How does this person behave? What qualities do you value? And perhaps most importantly, what will you do daily to build that relationship? What do you need to make it stronger and healthier? This means that the relationship does not become something indefinite, but rather something active that you work on every day. Very broad goals tend to produce small results because they have no clear direction. But when you define clearly specified goals with clear numbers, dates, and measures, then the big changes begin. You can see progress, measure success, and adjust route as needed. And here comes a crucial, perhaps most important point. Keep your goal to yourself. The act of telling everyone about your dreams and goals can make you feel like you've already done something. But in reality, you haven't done anything yet. Without actions, words have no power. The world won't change just because you told a lot of people about your idea. Additionally, oversharing runs the risk of settling for just the words without actually taking action. Remember that the people who achieved great things in history didn't talk about their plans. That's what they did. They acted consistently without the need for external confirmation. So what should you do? Write down your goal, enter numbers, dates, and all necessary details. Be clear and specific, but most importantly, keep it to yourself. This allows you to concentrate on the actual work, on constant progress. And when people start noticing the changes in you, it will be too late to try to stop you. You will be so engrossed in your evolutionary path that nothing and no one can stop your journey. 3. Change your mindset. The greatest transformation you can experience doesn't happen in your body or your money, but in your mind. If your mindset doesn't change, nothing will really be different, even if you make more money or have a new body. The secret to changing your life lies not only in your actions, but also in what you think and believe. Learn to enjoy the journey, not just the arrival. At first glance, everything may seem difficult. You may feel alone and wonder if it's worth it. Thoughts like, "This is too complicated," or "What if I fail?" or "Am I wasting time?" will arise. But remember that the effort may be painful for a while, but the frustration of staying in the same place lasts forever. Your brain wants to conserve energy and keep old habits because it's convenient, but any change requires adjustment. The trick is to see discomfort as a sign that you are growing rather than an impossible obstacle. If you learn to enjoy the journey, no one will be able to stop you. Those who only focus on the end rarely get there because they place happiness in something that lies in the future. But that's not real. Top athletes train not just to win competitions, but because they love to challenge themselves every day. The joy is in the process, not just the medal. Furthermore, you don't control the results, only what you do. This is an important principle of Stoicism. You can give everything to a project, but that doesn't guarantee immediate success. You can invest in a relationship, but there is no guarantee that it will be reciprocated. The sooner you accept this, the less you will suffer from unnecessary frustration. Do you want to change the way you think? Celebrate every little progress, every workout you do, every new habit, and every day you grow beyond your old self. Because these small steps add up and make big changes. Nietzsche said, "Become who you are." This means you need to stop trying to please others and follow your own values instead. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. True growth happens when you stop seeking approval from others and start acting in accordance with who you truly want to be. In the end, the most important change is not to appear different from others, but to become someone you truly respect and admire. And if you like the content, consider becoming a member of the channel. Not only do you help the channel, but you also have exclusive content. Click on the link in the description and become a member now. Back to content. Part 2. This is the right way to disappear. Imagine that your words are like footprints in the sand. Every time you say something about your life, you leave a mark of the path you have taken. The more you talk, the easier it is for others to understand what you are doing and even guess what you will do next. Have you ever felt that unease when your plans didn't pan out? Or when you told someone something important and instead of support you received doubt or suspicious looks? That's because silence can be a strength, but talking too much can backfire. Even at a young age, we get used to telling everything. We learn to seek praise, count our victories and wait for applause, and share our difficulties while waiting for a hug or advice. But this desire to show everything can cause problems. Sometimes the more we talk, the more room we give others to judge, get in our way, or even be jealous. So be careful what you say. Capture your words before they escape you. Zeno, a very ancient philosopher, said something that still makes a lot of sense today. We have 2 ears and only 1 mouth. This shows that we should listen more and talk less. Not everyone needs to know about your dreams, your difficulties, or your plans. The only person who should walk next to you and hear these things is someone special, someone who shares your values, who wants to grow with you, and who truly supports you. If this person is not in tune with you, it is even more important to remain silent. Also, leave a little mystery in the air. Make people curious about you. Saving your plans will help you focus better and protect your ideas. Instead of explaining everything, let the results show who you are. In this case, silence does not mean being alone, but rather being wise. This helps protect your dreams, prevents other people from getting in the way, and most importantly, gives you power over your own story. Either you choose the path you want to follow, or you let others choose for you. 1. Keep your plans secret. Do you know that moment when an incredible idea pops into your head? Your heart beats faster, you start imagining everything that could happen, and the urge to tell someone is hard to suppress. But there is something important you need to learn. Talking about your plans can significantly reduce the likelihood of them coming true. Every time you say what you plan to do, part of your will to act disappears. It is as if your energy is being used in words and not in actions. Imagine a balloon filled with air. First of all, it is beautiful, light, and full of power. But every time you share your idea, it's like you're slowly letting out the air. If this continues, the balloon will soon lose its power, fall to the ground, and no longer fly. Science shows that when you talk about a goal, your brain feels similar joy as if it has already been achieved. That sounds good, but it's not. This feeling makes you believe that you have already done something even though you have just said it. The desire to act disappears, and you stay in the same place. Therefore, it is best to remain calm. Keep your plans carefully. If you need an opinion or help, only talk to someone you really trust. Only say what is necessary, and only to those who can truly support you. Your ideas are like seeds. If you plant them in a safe place and take care of them calmly, they will grow strong. But if you show it to everyone, someone might step on it before it even sprouts. Show who you are with your attitude. In this case, silence is like a protective shield. He protects your dreams until they are ready to bloom. 2. Separate yourself from the need to please others. Imagine this scene. You enter a room full of mirrors, but these mirrors are different. They don't show who you really are. Everyone reflects a false version of you based on what other people think. A mirror shows you smaller because someone thought you weren't capable of it. Another makes his mistakes seem huge because someone criticized his decisions. And there's something worse. It only shows what others want to see and hides who you really are. Now think about it. Do you want to live trapped in this place full of false images? Many people spend their lives trying to fit into these mirrors. They change the way they speak, act, and even dream just to please others, be it family, friends, their partner, or people on the internet. They care so much about what others think that they are afraid of being criticized, rejected, or not accepted. And what do they get out of it? A weak identity whose existence depends on the eyes of others. The real problem isn't what other people think. Then you start to think that their opinion is worth more than yours. If you really want to disappear, you have to leave these mirrors behind. Instead of seeking approval from others, start creating your own value. Ask yourself every day, if I were someone else, would I admire myself? Or, if no one was watching, would I still do this? The answers will reveal whether you are truly alive or just trying to please viewers. Ultimately, the only consent that really matters is yours. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said something very interesting. The common man is just trying to pass the time, but the talented man uses his time in valuable ways. If you live to be accepted by others, you end up wasting a very precious commodity, time. Time that you can use to become someone you are proud of instead of someone who only wants to please you. Real change begins when your voice becomes most important, when you decide what has value, not others. Once you stop asking for permission to be yourself, no one can stop you from growing. 3. Save your pain wisely. Imagine a fighter training alone, in silence and in the dark. Nobody sees when he falls. No one listens when he screams from exhaustion. No one feels the pain they face during exercise. But when he enters the ring, everyone only sees his strength. Now think about your own life. Growing up can hurt. The path to maturity is full of invisible challenges that one often faces alone. There will be days when you feel tired. There will be moments when everything seems difficult, and you may doubt yourself some nights. When the pain gets worse, it's natural to want comfort. It's normal to feel the urge to vent to someone, to tell someone, and hope they understand. But the truth is that not everyone will understand what you feel. Some may listen, but few will actually care. Others may use what you shared against you. And many don't even have the emotional space to understand what you're going through. Your tears are yours, your brands too. No one else will feel this pain instead of you. This doesn't mean you should hide everything or pretend you don't feel anything. It means you can learn to transform pain into strength. The philosopher Epictetus, for example, said something very wise to a student who was suffering because of his brother. He explained that everything in life has two sides, one that you can hold and another that eludes your hands. In other words, you can't control everything that happens, but you can decide how to deal with it. You can carry the problem in a way that brings you down or in a way that makes you stronger. Another thinker, Marco Aurelio, said that the obstacle becomes the way. This means that difficult moments can be used as steps to move forward rather than as obstacles. When you decide to use the pain to grow, you begin to take control of your life again. You stop complaining and start taking action. Learn to accept pain as part of your development. It's the difficult times that help you discover who you really are. In the silence, when no one is watching, the real change happens. And when it's all over, people will see your strength but won't be able to imagine how hard you fought to get there. It's not about hiding what you feel. It strengthens the spirit. It grows in silence. This is where the true power shows itself. 4. Keep your progress still. Imagine caring for a very special tree. At first you only see the earth, but down there, where no one is looking, roots form. They spread, anchor themselves in the ground and support the growth of the tree. Now think, if you started digging every time a root grew, just to show that something was happening, you wouldn't be helping the tree. On the contrary, you would hinder its growth. The roots need time to establish themselves without external intervention. You need space and peace to develop properly. The same principle applies to your life. The progress you seek will come step by step. Over time, you will notice changes in yourself and feel like you are becoming a different, stronger, and more capable person. But like the tree, its growth also takes time and a solid foundation. For this change to be sustainable, it is important not to show the results before the right time. Nowadays, many people feel the need to show off everything they do to prove to the whole world that they are changing, that they are getting better. You want others to see and applaud your every little step, but in reality, too much pointing can cause more problems than benefits. Social networks, for example, have put pressure on us to share every achievement, every step. But this presence does not always lead to real support. It often makes others jealous or worse, doubtful about their decisions. People who are unwilling to change may even try to take you back to the past because your growth makes them uncomfortable. That doesn't mean these people are bad. It is simply the natural reaction of those who are used to living in stagnation. In addition, a strange phenomenon happens in our minds. If you talk too much about your small successes, your brain can start to think that the work is already done. And when that happens, you lose motivation to keep going. It's as if you're already receiving recognition just by telling others about your progress, and that's enough. But the real work is far from over, and feeling like you've already done it can keep you from your true goals. So the more you talk about your progress, the less motivated you may feel to keep growing. But how can you do it differently? How can you focus on what's really important without having to brag about everything you've accomplished? Stoic philosophers like Epictetus gave us valuable advice. Be reserved. As you change physically, as you become healthier or stronger, don't feel the need to draw attention to it. As Epictetus said, if you just drink water, you don't have to tell everyone about it. Silence can be a powerful tool. It creates space for reflection, for true growth without the pressure of external validation. When you make more money, you don't have to brag about everything you've bought or tell everyone how wealthy you are. Just keep living as if nothing has changed. When you have learned something new, use that knowledge wisely, without exaggeration or boasting. The key is not to hide your achievements, but to live with the knowledge that you don't need the approval of others to validate your progress. This means you can trust your journey without worrying about other people's opinions. It's not about hiding or living in the dark, but rather learning to live authentically without relying on external approval. Your attitude speaks for you. What you do, how you act, how you behave, all of this shows your development. People around you will notice, even without you having to say a word. It's not about showing off, it's about living the truth calmly and confidently. And if someone asks what happened and how you managed to change, you don't have to give a long or detailed explanation. A sincere smile and a simple sentence can be more than enough. I just focused on what was important. Sometimes words are unnecessary when your mere presence is responsible for itself. What you did and how you behaved will be more than clear to those who truly care. But there is something important to understand. If you have been trying to get out of your comfort zone and learn more for a long time, but you still haven't succeeded, there may be something you are not aware of. I know what it could be, it's fear. Fear is like a snake that comes silently and affects you without you noticing. It makes you feel bad for days, months, and even years. Living like that is like being sick all the time. But I know a solution. Stoic philosophers and modern psychology have a way of eliminating this. I myself managed to heal myself from this fear. I made a video explaining how to get rid of this evil, and it is in the first comment. Click the link in the first comment and start healing that feeling of anxiety. Part 3. This is how you get back on your feet. If you have followed the steps so far, something very interesting will happen. The need to get back on your feet will disappear. the desire to prove something to others simply disappears. When you become your own reference, there is no longer any point in seeking external approval. However, if you decide to show your development, do it right. Not with empty words or superficial demonstrations, but with the strength of your actions and the presence of someone who has truly changed. Now let's talk about how to get back on your feet in a way that really makes a difference. 1. Resurface without fanfare. Imagine the scenario. You enter a place where before you were just another face in the crowd, but now something has changed. People look at you with a different look, as if they sense something new in you. It may not be immediately visible, but there is an energy in the air, something that cannot be ignored. The most interesting thing? You didn't have to say anything. His transformation speaks for itself. The new physique, the new way of thinking, the renewed energy you carry within you, all of this can be expressed without words. People often make the mistake of feeling like they have to justify the development they have experienced. They explain where they were, what they did, what difficulties they went through, and try to validate each stage of their process. But if you're really an adult, you don't have to prove anything. True growth is not about convincing others, but rather about internalizing change and allowing it to manifest naturally. Stoicism teaches us exactly that. The freedom to live without relying on external approval or validation. As Epictetus said, when a person is properly grounded in life, he need not seek recognition outside himself. He reminds us that when you are at peace with yourself, you don't need validation from others to feel complete. If you have spent time rebuilding yourself, dedicating yourself to learning, and strengthening yourself within, you know that the best answer you can give the world right now is your silence. The mystery, calm and serenity in your posture keeps your peace and protects your focus. And most importantly, it prevents destructive influences from reaching you. You have become someone more solid and centered, and the world around you needs to recognize this without you having to explain it. Yes, some people will question your move. Others may even try to pull you back into old patterns, into the person you were before. But deep down, it doesn't matter. What really matters is that you know who you have become. You feel it within you. If someone asks you what you did, smile, take a deep breath, and simply say, "I'm alive." No further explanation is needed because true change needs no words. It is reflected in what you radiate, in your presence. Then continue your journey. Don't waste time trying to convince others of who you are now. Real winners don't make noise. You are making progress. You don't need applause or recognition to move forward. They know that true success lies in quiet transformation and constant development, and that this alone is more than enough. So instead of seeking validation from others, keep growing, keep living, and let your change be a testament to everything you have accomplished. The world will see the difference without you having to make a fuss. 2. Keep evolving. Think of a great athlete at the peak of his career. He trains non-stop, wins competitions, and becomes a legend. But one day, he decides to stop. Stop exercising with the same commitment. Stop challenging your own boundaries. Stop evolving. What happens after that? It starts to lose performance. Your body no longer responds like it used to. Your reflexes slow down. And soon, new competitors will appear. Younger, more committed, more ready to fight for victory. When he realizes that he has lost his place at the top, this is the mistake that many people make in life. You reach a destination and think the journey is over. They get a good job, a good relationship, some financial stability, and think they can just quit. But the truth is that growth never ends. Life is not about achieving a goal, but about continuing to move forward. You can achieve the body you've always dreamed of, the bank balance you wanted, the life you've imagined. But when you stop doing that, it all starts to fall apart. The body that is not cared for weakens. Money that is not well managed disappears. The mind that is not challenged loses strength. Evolving is not a choice. It is the only way to ensure that you never go back to who you were before. We often find ourselves drawn to the comfort zone because it gives us a false sense of security. You think, "I worked so hard to get here, now I can relax a little." And without realizing it, a week of rest turns into a month into a year. The next thing you know, you are at a standstill while others keep going. But that's not how life works. What doesn't grow shrinks and inevitably dies. Think of a tree, she never stops growing. Its roots deepen, its branches spread, and it is constantly changing. However, when a tree stops growing, it weakens, withers, is attacked by pests, and eventually dies. Now think about your life. Are you still growing, or are you allowing stagnation to get the better of you? People who truly develop follow a simple principle. With each goal achieved, they create a new challenge. With every goal exceeded, they establish a new level, and with each step, they look ahead to the next. Success is not an endpoint, but a process of continuous development. And to keep growing, you need to follow 3 important rules. First, never stop learning. The world is constantly changing, and those who don't keep up with these changes end up being left behind. The knowledge that got you here may not be enough to take you further. Therefore, it is important to nourish your mind. Read books, study, learn new skills. The mind that stops growing begins to weaken. Second, surround yourself with people who motivate you to be better. Have you ever heard the phrase, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with"? This is not just a saying, it is a psychological truth. If you live with people who don't strive for advancement, who are happy with what they have, and who complain instead of taking action, it is inevitable that this will affect you. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who challenge you, who continually learn and who inspire you to grow, your development will be a natural consequence. Look for mentors who know more than you. Join groups that challenge you. Be the person who learns the most in the room, not the one who thinks they already know everything. And third, excel every day. If you become 1% better today than you were yesterday, you are already on the right track. Think about what you can achieve in a year. The secret lies not in great and infrequent efforts, but in a mentality of constant improvement. It's more important to improve a little every day than to have big bursts of motivation followed by long periods of stagnation. Imagine your diet. If you only eat healthy for a week, you won't see the same results as someone who eats a balanced diet for a year. Progress comes from persistence, not from intense, short-lived effort. And this is exactly where many fail. They strive for quick results, instant recognition. They constantly want to be seen and prove something to others. But they forget that true evolution doesn't happen on stage, but behind the scenes. True power lies not in constantly being noticed, but in becoming unattainable. Because while some make noise, those who truly thrive build their success quietly. Remember, silence is your native language. Learn to master it. If you made it this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for accompanying me in these learning moments.